Because when we don't apologize, especially to kids, we teach them to be victims. Yeah. If we're always right, if we always have to force it down their throats, our kids will grow up to be victims. Why? Because we haven't taught them how to think for themselves. Instead, we've taught them that they're always wrong. And if they grow up thinking they're always wrong, they're going to make horrible decisions because they second guess themselves. And you can maybe even know it within yourselves, or you've had a conversation with someone, and you think they made a smart decision, and then they change their mind a week later. No, I'm not going to go to college. What? Or maybe they're so excited about the military, they're ready to sign up, and a week later they go, I don't know what I'm going to, maybe go to junior college. What? See, they second guessed themselves. They couldn't stand their ground and hold on to a firm decision because they were taught to doubt themselves. They weren't given authority, appropriate authority. You know, they don't run the house, but they weren't empowered. So I think apologizing is powerful because it allows kids to have an opinion and that they can impact you. They don't run you, they don't rule you, but they can impact you. We've looked at, in dealing with conflict, we need to follow protocol, the golden rule, go one-on-one, show some respect, but it has to be dealt with. A lot of times we ruminate. We ruminate and we hesitate rather than initiate. Individuals that are narcissistic aren't very attached. They don't form relationships very well. In fact, they're actually not that interested in relationships. They're only interested in getting what they want. They objectify people. They don't really care about how they impact you. They don't care how you feel. But you work with them. They are very difficult individuals because they blame everybody for their problems. Every time something's not done, it's their boss's fault, the economy's fault, it's the traffic's fault, or even their mother's fault. Can you believe that? Blaming your mother. And they don't take responsibility for their actions. Again, it's something else. It's another reason. Other people are at fault, but not them. What's interesting is that people like this are actually underperformers. The individuals who complain the most actually get the least amount done. And consequences are key. Don't we teach our kids about consequences? That is so important. Without consequences, we'd all be driving 100 miles an hour. We would do all kinds of things. Consequences are essential for our society to function. So we're dealing today with feedback. Accepting feedback, looking at ourselves, how we impact people, and then how to give feedback, how to deal with some difficult people around us, but dealing with them with respect, following protocol, and yet having some consistency, evaluations, and consequences. Lastly, I want to talk about one thing here. Integrity. It's the ability to pursue your dreams with honesty and hard work while caring for the people around you. That's integrity. I think that overall, when we look at what we've talked about today, we've talked about how to accept criticism, but appropriate criticism, reasonable criticism, but we can accept feedback. To me, integrity encompasses everything in the workplace. That how we handle ourselves and how we treat other people is essential for creating a healthy work environment. When I think of my son that I had mentioned who got in trouble with his sports, he's learning about integrity. He's learning about being responsible and taking responsibility for his own actions. You see, he couldn't blame the kid who was involved. He couldn't blame me. He couldn't blame the principal. Integrity says that I will take responsibility for my actions. I will take ownership of that. I like the sign when a boss says the buck stops here. That's a nice display because it says someone has to take responsibility. Well, my son in his junior year, when he wanted to play football, had never played football before. So I met with the coach of the athletic director of our school. Now, our school, it's a public school, we love it, but it has a very good football team. There are no slouches. They've taken CIF, they've won some championships. So I met with the coach and he said, well, Okay, he's a junior and he wants to play football. How many years has he played? None. Oh, well, what position? I don't know. Okay. And we went through this conversation, and he's like, he wants to play football. And then he said, well, it is October 1st. Yeah, I know. I didn't realize that for sports now, it's every day. You're training for a year. Do you know, if you take football in a regular public high school, it's a class. You actually get a grade for it. I didn't know that. And halfway through the year, it's twice a day. Not just 6:30 in the morning, it's 6:30 in the morning, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The hours and hours in the preparation for playing in September is enormous. And here it is October 1st, and I'm asking this coach to take my son on his team. Well, he said, bring him by tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So I told my son, I said, well, the coach wants to meet with you. And he came back to me later that day and he said, you know, Dad, I'm not going to do it. What? He goes, yeah, I don't want to play. It's not going to work. I said, you are playing. I said, you are going down there and you're going to be at that meeting. You're signing up. You know why? Because I knew he wanted to. He was scared. He didn't want to be embarrassed. And at that point, I was pretty dogmatic. I was saying, you're going to go. Well, there's a game every weekend. And that Friday, my son was on the field with water bottles. He was the water boy. But you know what was so great? Here is this big redhead, 6'1" kid carrying water for his friends. And they were cheering him. You know, he loved it. Of course he didn't get to play. No, of course not. These guys were athletes. They were stars. But you know what he did for 1 year? He practiced every day. He lifted weights. He turned into a moose. And so his senior year, he played in every game. He actually was on the field, not just with water. And he was in one of those special teams where you're in front after the kickoff and you just go down and you mow people over. Because he still couldn't throw and he couldn't catch, but he could hit. So that's what they just threw Eric the Viking in the middle and he just, you know, would plow some people over. That's all he did, but he loved it. You know, folks, you are on a team. You're in an excellent organization here. You have some excellent leadership. So whether you're the quarterback or the water boy, we all have a responsibility. And you know, my son played because I believed in him. And he therefore could believe in himself. Your company, did you know that they believe in you? They've hired you. You're here. They believe in you. And they want you to be successful. Not only at work, but even in your personal life. I want you to take charge not just of your job, but of your life, knowing that you are on a winning team. And the better you play, the better you'll win.